want to thank you all very, very much for everyone being here and on this beautiful, crisp morning. I'm Eddie Hoffman, the president of the Tarpon Springs Historical Society, as my father was for 25 years before. And we're here for a very special event. And we're here as the first of our marker program is a joint between the City of Tarpon Springs and the Tarpon Springs Area Historical Society. And so we're selecting different buildings around the city that have specific attributes about them, such as the owners, who are the owners, the special people that were here, or the special things about their architecture. To me, this does both. It's a wonderful old house architecturally, but then the people, the Mears family that built it, the Salleys that ended up being here, and so it has some just wonderful history. And so all of these things kind of reinforce our downtown and what makes Tarpon Springs special. And so we're feel very privileged to be able to bring this as the very first marker. There are some others around for city projects, City Hall and those kind of things, but this is the first one that we're doing for this particular program. And so we're going to be doing a number of them, 2 or 3 each year. So anyway, I'm going to introduce Karen in just a minute after I tell you about Colonel Salley. Colonel Salley, as Hammond hopefully will tell you, was a superstar hero. His whole family and his father, his wife's, Ernestine's father, were all very, very special as part of the city. Anyway, I'm going to let Karen come up and say just a couple of words, and then I'll introduce Hammond in a moment. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Oh, and Karen, by the way, she's the one that makes all this happen. She's the one that keeps us on the straight line with the city, and she's also helped. When she speaks, things happen. This thing was all a dirt pile and a big rut down here along the sidewalk, and so we need to have that taken care of.
Yeah.
Karen makes it happen. The sign getting up, happening this morning, being failed, everything. Anyway, thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I just want to say on behalf of the city, we're just so excited to partner with the Historical Society on this program. It's really been a labor of love, I think, for both of us. It's a way to commemorate and celebrate the tradition, the culture, the history of our buildings, our places, our people, and to make sure that keeps going in perpetuity. So we're hoping that this is a long-lasting program, and we're very pleased that this is the first of the markers, because I think this, as Eddie said, it's a perfect example of not only a building, but the people and the history behind what the people did in the city that makes it so special.
So Hammond is here, has come all the way from California, which I think is really special for this dedication. It's his family home, and I'm going to let him talk about his dad, his mom, his grandparents, and the significance of those that lived here.
As Ed mentioned, well, thank you, Ed. And as he mentioned, my name is Hammond Salley. I'm enjoying the nice weather here compared to what I left in California. Fortunately, where I live in Anaheim, about a mile from Disneyland, we got a lot of rain, but we're not affected by all the floods and stuff, thank goodness. I'm very pleased to be here. This is my family home. I consider Tarpon Springs my hometown, of course. My father retired from the military after 30 years, and we moved a lot of places, and because I'm retired military, I have lived a lot of places. But every time I went anywhere, there was always my home of record on my dad's records and my records that Tarpon Springs was my home of record. And so I feel deeply about Tarpon Springs, even though I live in California, and that's for different reasons. But I appreciate you all being here. Ed asked me to tell some stories. I'll read what I want to read first, I think. But this property, for those you don't know, goes from street to street. This house was built in 1901, and it used to have 3 other houses on the property. One is still there, a little cottage, but the other 2 houses are no longer there. They were torn down after World War II. But my grandparents lived here. My grandmother died in this house, and my parents lived here, and I sold this house to Carol Ellis around 1998, I think. And this was her corporate offices. But I want to read a little bit what I wrote. Excuse me for reading. I want to thank you all, of course, for attending. I think Ed has done that also. But I especially wish to thank the City of Tarpon Springs, the Tarpon Springs Historical Society, and the Tarpon Banther and Associates for supporting the local historical marker program and making this ceremony possible. This is a special occasion for the Mears Salley family, the descendants, and we sincerely appreciate the efforts of all involved. And this is kind of an emotional experience for me, having my family living here for so many years. The Mears family originally moved to Tarpon Springs from Bradford, Pennsylvania in 1882. However, this house was built in 1901, and the property was lovingly occupied for over 97 years by the family of Mr. Ernest Mears and Colonel Mackey Salley. Please note that the historical marker, when you get a chance to read it, does not address the house, but rather the 2 family members, both prominent Tarpon Springs residents, whose endeavors significantly impacted Tarpon Springs as well as the state of Florida. Mr. Mears was noted as a co-founder of the Tarpon Springs Sponge Exchange and respected leader in the Florida sponge industry, all the way down to Key West. This house was a focal point for Mr. Mears' business office and local social events. I have a lot of pictures of the young ladies in Tarpon Springs and all their finery right outside when this was a different type of fence, right here from the late 1800s. Among other activities, Mr. Mears served on the City Council as City Commissioner. He built the Mears Building in downtown Tarpon Springs and was Vice President of the First National Bank of Tarpon Springs, among others. Colonel Salley graduated from the University of Florida in 1925 and soon arrived in Tarpon Springs working for the Cobb Construction Company in Tampa, Florida. His assignment including supervising the dredging and construction of the pier, now known as Sunset Beach, in 1927, as well as building many brick roads in Tarpon Springs, Wall Springs, and Anclote. During the 1930s, he was involved with other civil engineering projects in Florida and South Carolina. He built and supervised several civilian conservation corps camps and was supervisor for the Flagler Railroad Bridge conversion into an automobile bridge on the way to Key West. Colonel Salley also served with distinction in the Army Corps of Engineers for 30 years. He built runways at MacDill Air Force Base, built Drew Army Airfield in Tampa, which is now Tampa International Airport, and laid out Dale Mabry between the 2 airfields. During World War II, he was responsible for building numerous Allied airfields, hospitals, and depots in England. In later years, he was involved with atomic bomb testing in Eniwetok around 1947-48 and rebuilding infrastructure destroyed in the island of Okinawa, and we were there in 1952-55. After Colonel Salley retired from the Army, he served as Tarpon Springs City Manager for over 6 years. Howard Park was built under his tenure. Some of his many community activities included commander of the Tarpon Springs American Legion Post, member of the Tarpon Springs Rotary Club, as Ed mentioned, board of directors of the Tarpon Springs Hospital Foundation, founding member of the Tarpon Springs Elks Club. Many people don't know that. Founding member of the Tarpon Springs Old Timers Club. Many people don't know that. And founder of the Tarpon Springs Historical Society. In the spring of 1991, the University of Florida College of Engineering honored Colonel Salley by designating him the 1920s Engineer of the Decade. Although Colonel Salley passed away in 1994, he was again honored by the state of Florida Department of State when he was recognized as one of the 2000 Great Floridians 2000, and the state of Florida plaque honoring his recognition is mounted on the gate right down there. That's from the state of Florida. And I thank everyone for their support in mounting this plaque and approving the historic mark too. And I'm sorry my brother Dudley, who you all knew, is not here to do this instead of me, but it's my pleasure to do this, and thank you all for attending. And if you have any questions about the house, I'll be glad to discuss them or tell stories of that. No questions? Thank you.